Hi everyone, this is Ryan Hicks, and I want to give my thoughts about Twin Peaks Season 3, Episode 12, Let's Rock. So first, right off the bat, we find out about the Blue Rose Project. Albert gives us quite a bit of information, how it started as Project Blue Book, and when the government officially closed it. Different parts of the government, or agencies like the FBI and the Army, I guess, formed the Blue Rose Project. And if you read The Secret History of Twin Peaks book, you know that Major Briggs was definitely a part of that. And so there's a backstory to that. We find out that for the FBI, originally they asked Philip Jeffries to start it, and he recruited Albert Cooper and Chet Desmond. So we know those people, and we know what happened to them. And as Albert points out, he's the only one who hasn't disappeared, and that's why Gordon has been hesitant to bring anyone new into it. But they've been so impressed with Tammy's performance, and they've been watching her for a while, that they invite her to join the project. They soon invite Diane to join, and they tell her it's because she would have knowledge of what happened, and when she asked why would she joined, they said, well, for a little money, but also to find out what happened to your friend, Dale Cooper. And then she goes, let's rock. And I don't know what this is supposed to mean, but there's a sound that we hear, and I remember hearing that sound quite a bit in Fire Walk With Me, and someone went back and looked at the video, and they said when they found the Let's Rock on, I think it was Chet Desmond's window, or someone's window, that we heard that same sound. Don't know what that means, but we see that link. Maybe it'll make sense soon. They obviously know that Diane is working with Evil Cooper, and so they want to keep an eye on her, but let her think that they're helping them. Diane's pretty smart, so I'm sure that she's kind of onto this, and I don't know if she's playing them by giving them false information, or who knows, we'll find out. We see Jerry running through the woods. I read somewhere that someone made the connection to kind of like Monty Python and the Holy Grail when they're running through the woods. I don't know, but it was kind of a funny scene. Why Jerry's out there, what significance that's going to play, who knows. We see Sarah at a liquor store, and she's shopping. She's buying things for Bloody Marys, and when she goes to the cashier, she sees some beef jerky and some turkey jerky, and it seems to kind of trigger something in her. She asks about, were you here when they first came? And I know she's referring to the turkey jerky, but maybe it's referring to something else like the woodsman or whoever. The room seems different, and men are coming. Your room seems different kind of harks back to that scene at the Double R when Shelley was the waitress, and we see the next scene, it's completely different. Shelley kind of turns, seems that something's not right. Maybe that'll have something to do with it, I don't know. We hear some backwards sounds at that. She said men are coming, I assume that's the woodsman. The fact that Project Blue Book had to do with space and aliens, and not something that could be in our dimension, I think that's how we said it. It's interesting who these men actually are, or what they call them. And then we hear Sarah Palmer say, I'm trying to tell you, you have to watch out. Things can happen. Something happened to me. Something happened to me. Notice she said that twice. I don't feel good. I don't feel good. Find the car key. Find the goddamn car key. Again, saying things twice. Oscar, the clerk, says he knows where she lives, and he can deliver them later to her, I guess. We hear this strange sound in the background, almost backwards, and it really reminded me of some of the sounds we heard in Fire Walk With Me. We see the scene at the Fat Truck Trailer Park. Talk about, Crisco, have you been selling your blood again? Why he doesn't want him to sell his blood, I don't know. It is showing that Carl's a nice man. Like I think the whole point is that he doesn't want people to have to suffer like that. He's a good man, and since we know he's a bookhouse boy, he's an honorable man too. We see the only time we see Dougie Cooper is at his house. We see kind of an aerial shot, and then they do a close-up of the red door at his house. And then we see Dougie and his son in the backyard, and he throws him the ball, and the ball hits him in the left shoulder. I don't know if that has anything to do with Dougie when he's in the Red Lodge says, my arm feels funny. If that had anything to do with that, I don't know. Who knows with any of this? And again, I don't know anything more than you do. It's just kind of fun trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. But that is really interesting that we only see Cooper, Dougie, once, and yet we're introduced to all these new characters in this episode. It seems a very deliberate thing. I know reading online, people have had problems with this episode, that they hated it. I'm not sure why, or that they were really disappointed with Audrey's return. I'll talk about that in a sec, but I thought it was interesting. It's deliberate. It's definitely, I'm sure, things that are going to pay off that happened in this episode that we found frustrating, for sure, though. We next see the Palmer house, and Hawk has gone to see Sarah Palmer. We see the Laura Palmer, we hear the Laura Palmer theme. We see the fan that we've known. When Hawk talks to her, you hear ominous music. Sarah says, I don't know what came over me. We hear Bob, she says, no one is here. And then she says to Hawk, it's a goddamn bad story, isn't it, Hawk? Whatever that means. And Hawk says, if you need anything, help of any kind, please call me. Next we see Miriam at the hospital, very reminiscent of other people, whether it was Dr. Jacoby at the hospital or Jacques Renault. We see Diane on her phone. Las Vegas, she gets a text, and then she says, they haven't asked me yet. I noticed all of her texts are in capital letters. I don't know why that is, but they are. Sheriff Truman visits Truman tells him about what happened with Richard, and his response was he did not have a father. Ben offers to pay for the operation Miriam needs. He says that boy has never been right. Harry had a number of run-ins with Richard, nothing too bad, but each time was worse than the time before. We pretty much lost contact when I refused to give him more money. And then he talks to him about this Schwinn bike that his father got for him secondhand, put on these big tires, painted it for him. It was really hard to ride, but obviously it's a happy memory that Ben has of his childhood with his father. And I guess the point is showing that, he feels bad for Richard because Richard didn't have a father. He then gives Truman the key that Cooper sent, or that Jade sent mail Cooper's room key to give to, and he told him to give it as Harry as a memento. He asked, do you think Harry would like that? And I'm sure Sherman's thinking, well, why is this key happening now? I'm sure he's going to say he's giving it to his brother for a memento, but he'll probably run it by Hawk and think about it. Gordon is entertaining a French woman who's in town she's visiting a friend of her mother's whose daughter has gone missing. The Turnup farm. I'm sure she'll turn up. This is probably what drives people mad, is she takes so long to leave and does each simple thing, like how she puts her shawl on or how she puts her shoes on so slowly and seductively to Gordon. It's quite funny. And it's funny in the sense, too, that Gordon is there because of very, very serious business, and yet he's still picking up chicks in the bar, right? And then he says, Albert, did you know there's more than 6,000 languages spoken on Earth today? I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to move ahead because a lot of stuff happens in this. We see that the warden was assassinated by the two killers. They seem to know what they're doing, and for whatever reason, for the wife, she's like addicted to junk food. She's eating Cheetos. I don't know if that has to do with the corn, like the evil corn. And you saw, I think in episode 1 in her room, there was like bags of like empty chip bags and stuff like that. So and then they want to go eat at Wendy's. So I don't know what that has to do with not eating very good food, but just an interesting thing they keep bringing back with her. But it definitely shows that these guys know what they're doing. And remember Cooper saying, and 2 more possibly in Vegas. I would assume that that's probably Dougie and Janie. And so I'm really hoping that they don't meet the same fate with these assassins, but these assassins are good. They know what they're doing. They're cold. We have Dr. Amp. He goes on. And then we see Audrey. And then we meet this other man named Charlie. It's very interesting because this is modern day, but it looked like he has like an ink thing, like from an ink pen, and he has like an hourglass, and he has literally a crystal ball on his desk. He's all these files. It seems very weird that he's working with so much paper in the modern age. I don't know what that has to do with anything. I had to write down everything that they said and go through it, so I won't go through everything. But essentially, Audrey wants to go look for Billy. She thinks that he might be at the Roadhouse, or that's the next thing to do it. Charlie's saying, I don't want to go. He talks about, I'm being sleepy. Like, they're obviously making this guy to be a big wimp, pushover, whatever that. And Audrey doesn't like it. He says, come on, Audrey, you know I don't have a crystal ball. It's getting late, I'm getting sleepy. I have so much work to do before I go to sleep. And Audrey is pretty awful to him. Like, they make Audrey quite awful, which is jarring in the sense that this wasn't the Audrey that we know. And I don't mean like evil Coop, like evil Audrey, but like 25, 26 years have passed, and obviously she's gone through some things to be so hardened as she is now. We find out they have a loveless marriage. This is some sort of arrangement, some sort of contract that they have going on. And why that is, we don't know. I don't even know if this will play out or pay off, because there's only so many episodes left. But we'll see. He seems like he really cares for her, I guess. Talk about papers. And then she says, oh, I see. Maybe I should run them by Paul. Maybe I should have Paul come give you a visit. Who's Paul? What happened to Audrey? Who's her husband? What's any of this? Wait a minute. Tina. Let me call her now. We know that Audrey doesn't like Tina. Supposedly she was the last person to see Billy, but I think it was Chuck who was certifiable, so we can't call him. Who's Chuck? We don't know. Calls Tina. Chuck stole Billy's car last week. I'm suspecting that Billy's truck was the one that hit the boy. We saw that Andy came to talk to this man his truck, he said it was missing. Why Andy was there, why they were looking for the truck. Who's not, but that guy's probably Billy, and it seems that Richard probably killed him. We don't know, but hopefully we know. So anyways, he has a conversation with Tina. Seems quite intense. He's like, oh, that's awful. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I don't know. And then at the end he says, I won't, I promise. Yeah, me too. Meaning that I won't tell Audrey. And so after he gets off the phone, he doesn't tell Audrey anything. The next scene we see is at the Buckhorn bar. Diane comes down for a drink after their bar's closed. She's trying to remember the coordinates. Somehow she remembers the coordinates, and then she says +2. She puts them into her phone, and when she zooms in on the coordinates, we find out it's Twin Peaks. Now, some speculate that Albert, because he knew that Diane was working with Evil Coop, that he might have smudged the numbers or adjusted the numbers to throw her off. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Next scene we get is a shot of the woods. We have the Chromatics, who we've seen before, playing an instrumental called Saturday. We see 2 girls at the bar, and I believe their names are Natalie and Abby, based on the credits. Those are 2 names that I saw that I didn't recognize from anything else. So who's Natalie, who's Abby? They talk about Angela. She's supposed to show last night. She might have been here with Clark. Yeah, but they've been hanging out a lot lately. And I saw Clark and Mary together. So Clark, Mary, Natalie, Abby, who are all these people? We only see Cooper once, but yet we're introduced to all these characters kind of near the end of this season. So what's going on? And then they say about Angela, she's going to go crazy when she finds out about Clark. She's off her meds now. I hope Clark does not mess it up, losing her mom like that. And then we find this guy named Trick, and he says, I almost got killed coming here. Someone ran me out, tried to run me off the road. Thanks, Trick. And they said, Trick's lucky to be alive. Yeah. Isn't he in jail? No, he's a free man. A free man. And that's where the episode ends. And I understand the frustration that people might have with this episode. I still loved it. I still enjoyed it. Do I understand it? Not at all. In fact, of all the episodes, including episode 8, to me this one made the least amount of sense. It's frustrating in that sense, but not, I have enough faith in the narrative to know that this will pay off, and very interesting episode. So those are my thoughts. It's hard to kind of predict what's going to go happen next, but again, I'm enjoying the ride. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks again.